Hello, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a blessed day. I just got home from Mass and wanted to hop on here. Just getting ready for the week ahead, and I have made some progress on the coloring book. Although it's a slow and steady progress, but I'm hoping that I can continue on. Really trying to find a way to make some extra money, and I'm hoping that posting this coloring book on Amazon, I can start to see some sales and continue on with this business idea that I have. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to do all the things that I believe God's asked me to do, showing up to my duties, showing up to work, showing up for my wife, and there's just a lot to do. It just never ends. But the most important thing is that I have consistent prayer life, and that I'm putting prayer as a top priority. And I'll be honest, this past week I've been not as active in my prayer life because I've been trying to get work done, and also probably been doom scrolling a little too much. And it's ironic because last video I made talking about mortifying the flesh by ditching your smartphone, I found myself on the smartphone even more. But I think making these videos will help me be accountable and remind myself that I should cut these habits out. But it's all difficult. Another thing I need to be doing is more reading, more material of the Catholic faith. I want to deepen my understanding in theology, and especially in the virtues. We have a whole library of books, but we just don't have time to dig into it. But I just got to start small somewhere. The good news though is that I've been looking for a spiritual director for a while now. I've never really officially had a spiritual director. I have consulted with priests, but finding a spiritual director is just, I think, very necessary. But it's been a struggle because I've been trying to ask around, and priests are busy or the times are bad. So I found 3 priests that I was reaching out to, and each of them have different circumstances. But today, after Mass, I talked to the priest and told him that I had reached out before, but his secretary was, she told me that his hours are limited during the summertime. So I gave up hope, but after Mass, I just waited until he got done and tracked him down while he was walking to his car and told him, hey, I was talking to your secretary, and she said that you don't have, you have limited hours available, but I work at 9 to 5, so I'm only available in the late afternoon. He said to email her again, and they can make it happen, and he'll find a time to talk. So that was encouraging because I really am in need of a spiritual director. As a newly married man, trying to get my life in order, trying to start a family, I have to have right direction. And as leader of the household, I think it's the top priority is having a strong prayer life, and that I can influence my family lead them towards God, and that starts with me. So morning routine has got to be on point. I think I got to wake up a little more earlier. I wake up at 5, but I would like to wake up like at 4:30 and go to bed earlier, like around 9. Having a full night of sleep is imperative, and getting good quality sleep. We have our bedroom, and I really need to work on blacking out the room. We got some blackout curtains that I installed, but there's still some light poking in through the bathroom window. So I really need to black out those curtains, black out the room, and get some good sleep. I notice when I have a blacked out room, I sleep amazingly. And that helps with so much with testosterone production and all that. But I also can't get too carried away with trying to have like the ideal setup, because you're just always going to find something that's wrong. But sleep is imperative, so I got to focus on that. But finding a spiritual director would be good. I want to find one that is just well-versed in the faith, but also well-versed with like the culture and society and how bad things really are. I think most priests tend to see how bad things really are, but there are some that are just don't see it as much, to say the least. So I'm hoping one of the 3 priests that I reached out to I can work with, or maybe I'll talk to all of them and see who I resonate with the most, because I really need some guidance on how to lead my family and what to do, because sometimes I feel lost. But I think making these videos is a good way to, it's just something. It's creating something, and hopefully this is for God's glory, and I make some good content, and it could lead to somewhere. Maybe God is calling me to share the faith online and put myself out there. I think there's a lot in you can learn in virtue by recording yourself and putting yourself out there and sending a message out. There's a lot that could be learned, I think. So here I am, one step at a time, doing it. I just don't know if I should focus more on the YouTube side or making the coloring book side, because I see them working together, because I can promote the product through the videos, but at the same time you can just be successful on YouTube. And all I want is to follow God's will and to earn enough where I can support my family. It's not easy, but we're here, and this is our time. We have a lot of luxury in this life, even if you're poor in this life. Like the 21st century right now, with our technology, I think we're a lot better off than any other time. But then it's a double-edged sword, because our souls are more at stake. You can make the argument, because we have too many comforts and too many luxuries that we forget about God, and we get consumed with this life. And that's what today's readings in the gospel were today. Consumed in wealth and chasing material and forgetting about God. I mean, that was the gist of it. Yeah, as a newlywed, it's just, there's so many changes, so many changes. When I was single, I had a routine. I felt hopeless because it just felt like nothing was ever changing. But I was striving and I wanted to improve my life. And I guess I learned from being single, like just going through the motions, going through the process, just working on yourself as a man, improving yourself, learning. You have all that time, and if you're single, you might feel like, oh, I can't find a wife, or there's no good women out there, or there's something wrong with me, where you could feel demoralized. And you go to mass and you see all these couples, all these families, or you go to, if you're in your 20s or your 30s, it just seems like all the people your age, they're married and they have families, or they're taken, and then all there is older people or younger people. And at least that's what it was like for me. It was just like constantly going to mass, looking around trying to see if there was a single lady, and not finding anyone. Then I tried online dating, and that would be hit or miss. I would meet women online, and then either we would talk for a little bit, or it'd fizzle out, or we'd meet up and it just wasn't the right fit. And then it was just like back to the drawing board. You just got to continue working, continue exercising, continue being single and doing all your chores and all that. And it felt like nothing was ever going to change. But God's timing is the best timing, because He knows when you're ready for something. He will put it into your life. And sometimes you feel like you have to force it, or sometimes you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, am I doing enough? That's why I think praying, constantly praying, like for God's will is necessary. Like, what do you need me to do today, God? What is the right thing? And I think staying in prayer is the best thing you could do. Because no matter what, that's the best thing you can do. And, your life gets full. But now that I'm married, it's still like I'm trying to achieve a lot of the same things, but now it's more with the family in mind. And how can I be there for my wife? How much, your time gets taken, and you're not just thinking about yourself and what you want to do in your life. You're thinking about how are we going to do things together, and planning things out. And you learn from each other. You learn how she does things. She learns how you do things, and you have to adjust what you have going on to get what you want. So newlywed life, it's like you move in to a house and you just start figuring it out and try to figure out who does what, and planning and like figuring out events, like what we have going on, where are we going for Christmas, where are we going for all the holidays. And I need a system. I need a system that I could be dialed in so I can be on top of things. So I think it just takes time, but having a spiritual director will definitely help. At least map out my life spiritually so I can do all the things in the physical world. But overall, things are good. Just need to increase wealth, but not get caught up with it too. You know, there's something to be said to be living in poverty. Poverty is a virtue. It's not just like being poor materially, but there are fruits for when you are poor materially, because it makes your choices a lot easier. You can only live within your means, and sometimes your means dictate your decisions. And then the spirit of poverty is just realizing yourself, how weak you are, how limited you are, and relying on God's grace to give you that grace to do what you can. Because I may not be capable of doing many things. As you get older, your capabilities decline, but you can't rely on yourself. You have to rely on God, and God will give you the necessary graces to do His will. And it's easy to get stressed out because it's not going according to plan or how you see it. I get stressed out a lot because I'm like, why is it not going the way I think it should? Or it's easy to compare yourself to other people and be like, why is this person having a lot of success, yet I think I have way more skills than that person? That's something I have to watch. It's a vice of mine, is that I guess it's envious, or it's just the vice of comparison. I'm just like constantly looking, it's like, how did this person get this or achieve this? Yet I'm over here like slaving away and nothing's going my way. I try to remind myself that there's a lesson there that God wants you to learn, wants me to learn. And if you can just let go of that and that comparison and just trust that God's got a plan for you, I think you'll be okay. So it's just one day at a time. I guess I'll end with every day is an opportunity to give yourself up to the Lord, and putting your prayer life first is what will set your material life. You know, the right things will come in your life if you're putting God first. So I think that's why it's so important to pray in the morning, and not to obsess about things like, oh, what I should do with my life. Just do the next right thing. And I think it becomes clear over time. And even if you're not sure if it's the right thing, doing the wrong thing will lead you somewhere too. If you're not sure you know? Who cares? If you do the wrong thing, you'll still learn from it, and there's going to be time to make up for it. As long as you're not doom scrolling, as long as you're not, like, you know when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. If there's a choice between doing something and not doing, or if there's a choice between doing two different things that you could do either or, and you think like either of them could be the right thing, it doesn't matter which one you do, just do it. Take that route and figure it out. Or it's much more better than just doing the wrong thing that you clearly know is the wrong thing. So I'd say pick the path, whether it's left or right, and don't go backwards. You know not to go backwards. You either got left or right. You don't go backwards. Although sometimes you do have to go backwards. No, I'm just playing. Okay. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. May God bless you.